There we go. I think that's good. All right. So let's get my cane over here. And let's get me over here. And then I'm going to open that up. All right. So what we're going to do today is we're going to cut an amethyst oval piece. Now I've already started. Cutting on it. Let me get it up here so I can actually watch what y'all say. All right. So we're going to cut our first amethyst oval piece. We've already started cutting, and I've gotten to the 1200 grit. We're about to move to the 8000 grit to see if we can get a good polish on it. Let me go ahead and put it down there. All right, so for some reason, it is way off than when I left it, which don't make much sense to me. So let's go ahead and move that up. Let's see. All right, everybody. So what we're doing is, again, we're making an amethyst oval, but right now we're moving to 8000 grit. And I'm going to go ahead and lock and tighten this up. Our angle right now is 4558, and I got it at 59, so whenever I press down a little bit, it goes where it needs to. All right, so we're going to start at P2, then we're going to go up to P1. So let's go ahead and set it on 14. If anybody's got any questions about faceting and things like that, be sure to ask. All right, and then we're going to start that water flow. Turn the machine on, and let's get to faceting. Lower this down till we hear the grinding. So how's everybody's day going? I hope everybody's doing well. And we're just going to sit here and polish our gemstones, our gemstone. Check this out under the glass. I will say, I really like how amethyst polishes up. It's a really beautiful polishing stone, and I want to say that this amethyst come from some country start with a B. No, it ain't Brazil, but I got it from Joe Henley Rough, and I got a friend of mine. He's from Copper Canyon. Hey, Minty. He's from Copper Canyon and Copper Canyon Lapidary. And we've talked about maybe me cutting some stones for him. He's been going through some heart troubles. So I think we've been talking, if he's got some rough, I'll cut some rough from him and give it back to him so he can kind of help recoup some of his costs. A really good fella, though. And if you're looking for like rough and crystals and specimens and things like that, be sure to check out Copper Canyon Lapidary. They got a website, and I don't know if he still is selling the equipment, but I'm sure if you email them or call them, you might be able to get some of the equipment he's able to sell still. But that's more of an iffy situation right now, just because he's going through a lot. So I don't know if he's kind of given up the equipment side and just taking solely to the rough and crystal side. And I know my hand's in the way. I'll try to do it like this. But really good fella. I hope everybody goes and checks out his store site. And I'm not advertising, like I'm not I get paid nothing by them. They're just good people, and you know, just want to help them out. Can't help out good people enough nowadays, you know. So how's everybody today doing? And with this amethyst, I may have made an upsy daisy on it. Very well. Because when it come, it was lower than what I thought it was. And I said, my Lord, that thing's pretty low on the angle that it's supposed to be. And I'm not sure if I did one of these facets wrong. If so, it needs to be corrected. So we might have to go back and actually cut the previous set of facets. And that's another problem with me. I got a terrible mind for numbers. I misread them all the time. I'm good with math, as long as I can keep the numbers straight in my head, but I got a terrible mind for them. I can't really keep them straight in my head. All right, let's put this previous plate on. Let's see if that actually cuts it a little better. If it does, then I've messed up on this previous plate here. Get that water running. Sorry about my hand being in the way. I got to keep that in mind. I'm used to doing that hand and that arm, so if it's in y'all's way, you let me know. Maybe holding on like this will help. While I got you here, if you like gemstones and you like cutting gemstones and all that, be sure to like and subscribe. It really does help us out. We're trying more and more every day to get people into cutting gemstones, as well as younger people as well. So that way, I hate to say it, but I'm usually one of the youngest guys there at these little meetups and everything like that. So it's just, it'd be good to get some younger people in there, and that way it doesn't die. We're gonna get this right, dude. We're gonna get this right. And what I may also do is see how this line falls short? What I may also do is I may come up on the diagram and then go to this line, and it looks like the next one would be 10 on that, and actually just recut that again so it pokes up right and meets at the temporary culate point better. And I know it's hard to see. I'm trying to figure out a way to live stream while also giving you a close-up view of the stone without the whole process getting in the way of actually cutting the stone. So if anybody's got some suggestions on that, I'd be immensely grateful. But right now we're just kind of working on figuring things out. Let's see. So we already did 14. Now we got to go to 34. Yeah, I think whenever this was cut, something happened, and I messed up reading the lines a little bit. But that's all right. We'll figure it out. We'll get our riders running. And if you want to, while I'm here, and if anybody's got any questions about lapidary, feel free to ask. I'm a wealth of useless knowledge, so you know, don't think you got a dumb question, because I always got a dumber answer. But if you want to ask a question, I'll be more than happy to answer them. Unless it's how do you remember what numbers you were doing? And maybe you can answer it for me. And to be honest, I'm getting pretty good at just cutting these stones without remembering the numbers all too well. But we are also working on a video on some of the things I've learned about cutting gemstones with the faceting machine. And I think that may be out next week. We're going to start making some more videos. We got some gemstone dirt to go through, and we may go through that and see if there's any stones in there worth faceting, and see if we can maybe facet a few of them, and who knows, maybe even give a few of them away to some people that watch us live stream. And that might be pretty good. And again, I think we've already talked about this, but doing a little auction in the future for Lottie Moon, and hopefully the YouTube platform will let us actually post it and everything like that, so people can you know, bid, and whoever wins, they put their bid in for the auction, and then that goes to charity. I got to check out and see just how up to snuff that is before we even do it, though. But it may be pretty fun for everybody. Sorry, I'm gonna have to kind of go like this. I apologize. And let's see if I can lower that light a little bit. See if that helps out some. Did that help anybody? To see this stone. And it's back to where it was. Okay, well, I think y'all probably want me to get this stone correct. But yeah, so right now we're using the 1200 grit lap, and we're just making these spots that I had previously messed up even again. And then after that, what we'll do is all the side little spots next to it. Hey Ariel, how you doing? It's nice to hear from you again. And I hope some people from the Renaissance Fair is in here tonight, because I had a blast doing the trick with y'all, my little magic trick, and showing y'all some of our gemstones. How's things going today, Ariel? It's nice to see you in chat. Alright, so we're getting these cut to where we want to. So let's do 82. And then we're going to go back, and all the ones that we had previous difficulty with, and it narrowed the facets next to it, we're just going to go back, touch those up, get it back to a temporary killet point like it should be. Then we're going to start polishing and pre-polishing. My goal is that we get at least maybe halfway done with the pavilion tonight. Who knows? I actually find the pavilion to be one of the harder things for me. The crown is usually I don't know how to put this other than the crown's usually pretty easy in my opinion. But that could be because I come from a more cabbing background. So I usually worry less about the pavilion or the back end. The equivalent would be the back end of it. Cabbing, now I do worry about it, but I worry about it less. And then when it comes to the crown or the top or the dome of the cab, I usually stress very much about that. But here, it's pretty easy. You know, your cuts are straight no matter what happens. Here, pretty much, other than one thing, and that one thing is after transfer, your stone can be off some. And what that means is when your stone is off, so transfer usually, or at least from my understanding, it never goes even, right? So the top of the stone, or this part, whenever you dop it, it could be off a little bit just in some way, you know what I mean? And then when it's off a little bit, what happens is you cut all this and you make a perfect little nice girdle. So this is perfect at the end, right? Well, you put it on the little dot, the cone dot, and whenever it transfers, right, it may transfer even here, but up here it's still off. You get what I'm saying? So you have to actually use your cheater and adjust it. Oh, thank you so much, Ariel. That's awesome. Yeah, can we get 10 more likes? I'd appreciate that. Ariel, you keep me on track, Ariel. I appreciate that. You keep me on track. So, what we're going to do now is, now we got that done, we need to make sure all of our facets for the pavilion are in order, okay? So let's see, all of our facets need to be in order. And how we do that is let me turn this water off real quick, is I am going to, number one, I'm going to turn my light a little bit towards the numbers here so I can read them. All these little facets that do not go up to our cullet point, like this one here, well, I know that this one's 81, and if I move it forward, that facet's going to be set there, right? So I know the next set of facet, or the next facet after 81 above in this P1 bracket is 86. So I'm going to work my way back like that. But first I actually have to set the angle to the correct thing here. So let me go ahead and set it to 47.59. Good Lord willing, I'll get it correct. 47.59. And we are set. So now that I got that, we see that because we lifted the angle up, our stone does not touch flush. What I'm going to do before I even turn it back on, and this is the thing I mess up with all the time, is I'm going to lower the touch, right? And after lower the touch, I'm going to raise it off with this fine, this fine adjustment here. So it's just barely not touching. Then I'm going to turn our facet machine on. I'm going to give us a little more water, right? I'm going to turn the light so y'all can see it some, and I'm just going to lower it just until we get it to its fine cullet point. Once we get it to its fine cullet point, then we can start working on our actual polishing. And this one, while not that far off to the naked eye, when you use the 10 times, it's actually quite far off. And we don't want that whenever we want to use the 10 times, because look, your customer might not see it, you know, the people that you're cutting for may not see it. They may trust you enough to not even use it 10 times. But if you see it and you know it, you should want to be the professional that you are to correct that. and make it to where it needs to be. So we're just going to go ahead, and right now we're only a few degrees above, but that's enough. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cut it until we get it to that fine cullet point. And then once we're on that fine cullet point, we're going to take this 12,000 grit and we're going to work up to our 8,000 grit. We should put a nice pretty polish on there, and then we're going to use that 50,000 grit to really touch it up and get it nice and pretty. So also we have some frosted designs. My wife actually bought me a book, and I don't know where it is right now. Laura, if you're listening and you wouldn't mind, could you grab me the book? If you're not able to, that's fine, I understand. I just didn't know if you are, and if you are, would you mind grabbing it? But it's actually got a really cool butterfly design on a stone, and I'm thinking that might be pretty cool to cut, especially on live stream, is to cut a nice little cool butterfly. And who knows, maybe we can give it away to somebody. And then I know my sister, she wants me to cut a D20 for her, which, I mean, she's not really like she wants to do D&D, but she hasn't. I don't think she has actually done D&D yet. So if we ever do D&D, it might be something that with that we can ready, because the campaign's already set, stuff like that. Yeah, I've just seen a huge drop off in people watching. I think the stream's lagging. And again, I apologize if it is. We don't have the best service out here. But c'est la vie. Alright, now we got things going. Let me check this next one. Do you ever get to doing something and then just for a random reason you get really nervous in the middle of it? And you're like, things is going a little too well. Let's see. Alright, so the next one is, let's see, 54 was, okay, 54. Right next to 54. 58. Let's see if that's our culprit for one of them, which I believe it is. But we're actually doing an oval amethyst, and also we're cutting. I was cutting this aquamarine. I don't even know where I put it now. But I screwed it up, y'all. I screwed up that aquamarine. I was so mad with myself. Because we took 2 weeks. Here it is. I don't know if you can see it from here. But we took 2 weeks. And I was cutting it. It looked pretty. It was going good. I'm screwing it up. But I was cutting it. Looking pretty. Going well. And then we had to take... I took 2 weeks off to the fair and everything like that. And wouldn't you know it, when we got back home, started cutting again, and I forgot where I left off, and then I had totally messed up. I'm talking about beyond repair. So now I got to cut a new design in it, which is going to take things away from it. So it's something. But please hit the like and subscribe button. Really does help the channel out. And let's keep continuing cutting. And if any of y'all at all have questions about lapidary, faceting, cap cutting, anything like that, I am more than willing to share what I know, because we got to get more people into this hobby, because I hate whenever I go to shows and there's not a lot of young people who are cutting. There's not a lot of like cutting gemstones, and then there's not a lot of young people who are faceting and stuff like that. And it's just, I don't want to say it's sad, but it's just kind of a bummer, you know, because I mean, it's a good hobby. It definitely takes a lot of concentration, at least for somebody like me. I'm sure there's some brilliant people like y'all out there, like Ariel. Ariel's pretty smart. That can do it. But for me, it's a little tough. So what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to our 8,000 grit here. We're going to put that 8,000 grit lap on there. And what that 8,000 grit does is it's a pre-polish, right? So we're just going to pre-polish this stone. I'm going to try to get all of the hair and everything like that, because we got dogs in the house, so that dog hair can get caught on there. And it can actually leave scratches in the stone. And previous laps can leave behind some things on the stones. And you want to clean that off. And I forget about this all the time, and I usually end up paying for it. So we kind of clean that off, get it a little clean, and then let's go ahead and work on our stones. And what we're going to do is 4760. That's pretty good. All right, so we'll start there. Didn't even have to really do the up down technique. All right, so we got water running, and what we're going to do is put it on there, and we're just going to lower it slowly until I feel that it's cutting. And it is indeed. So what we're going to do, I'm going to dry that off, and I'm going to look at it with my old 10 times magnifying glass. And funnily enough, I got this 10 times from, what was it? Jacob the jeweler. He's a friend of mine, and he's around this area. And very good fella. And this stone might just go to him if he's interested. I always show him what I got, what I'm practicing on, and he seems to, I don't know if it's just out of niceness, but he always seems pretty happy whenever I bring stuff in. And he's actually done a recent remodeling on his showroom as well, which I will tell y'all guys, he's doing a great job. I mean, a really good job, because I'm a huge fan of green, and he sells Rolexes and stuff like that too. I'm a huge fan of green, and I'm telling you, one wall's just got this green velvet kind of looking thing there, and it's got the Rolexes in there, and I'm telling you, this guy, he's good. He knows how to design a showroom. I'm telling you that right now. And it's a very good, very kind fella too. Let's, if you can, if you would please, give us a couple of likes and subscribe. I'd appreciate that a whole ton. Let's see. Now, let's look at this in the magnifying. So we still have some minor scratches. That's what we're going to do. And it's at the very bottom corner of this facet. I actually got my finger right on it. I don't know if y'all can see it or not, but it's right there, very bottom corner. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to this rougher part of the plate, the part of the plate I barely ever use, and I use that for more of our more stubborn stuff. And I'll use the center for a fine cut, and then the outer part for a more rougher cut. And then if that still doesn't do it, then what I'll do is I'll lower the angle. So I actually drop this mass down a little bit, just like I did, fine adjustment. And I'll try it back on a fine and see if that helps get out the stubborn spot. Now it's still there, but it is disappearing slowly. Slowly but surely, y'all. So let's see if that took it away. No, not completely. You probably couldn't even see it if you were looking at it for it, but again, there we go. All right, we got it, y'all. So now we move to the next one, and we're just going to continue going like that, but I'm going to raise this up a little bit, because if there's no need to cut extra, there's no need to cut extra. You know what I mean? So let's see if we can get this working like this. And let's see how that looks. Let that kind of dry some. And I'll tell you what, my wife, if you can probably tell by the accent, I've always been a fried chicken guy. Love fried chicken. But I'm telling y'all what now, my wife makes a baked chicken, I'm telling you, blow your socks off. I was eating them things up today. And it's not that they're spicy, it's not nothing like that, it's just because I like spicy things mostly. You know, and I like seasoned spicy more than I like, you know, like hot sauce or anything like that. I actually like seasoning that spicy and things like that. The powders. But I'm telling y'all, she made some chicken. Wasn't spicy, nothing like that, which I usually go for. But it had some good seasonings on there, and that just blew. Thinking about it right now, I can still taste it. What we're doing is we're continuing with that 8,000 grit lap, and then once we're done with the P1 row of facets, we're going to come back and we're going to hit up, or we're going to move down and hit up the P2. And then after that, we're going to hit them with the 50,000 grit. Now the 50,000 grit is usually the quickest when it comes to the plates, and that's just a fine polish, kind of getting it very nice and shiny on there. This is usually the one where I take the most care at. And I may even turn it up a little bit. See if that helps out. Now this stone did pop off the top earlier, and it's like the second one I've had pop off the top with this glue. And again, usually this glue is pretty solid at holding things on, but for some reason today it just didn't want to hold it on. So I was kind of nervous, but I was able to kind of get it on within a certain tolerance, so I wouldn't have to recut it all too bad. And so got it back on here, and I'm telling you, I glued this thing all over, and then used some quick accelerant for the glue, and hopefully it'll hold on. Lord willing, it'll hold on. We're gonna move that back up again. We got it sit there, and then we're gonna just run it back down. And it's easy as that. And we just gonna watch. Now look, that one, pretty easy. Pretty easy. Yep. No scratches. And I went through it a couple times because I just wanted to make sure. You'd see a little thing and it could be something left behind that you need to get off so it doesn't create scratches later on. So you just want to make sure you get them all off. And if anybody's an expert, or not expert, but if anybody knows anything about Discord, while we're in the chat here, if y'all could let me know, if I want to do a Discord so people can share their hobbies in there, but it's mainly like a channel Discord so people can go in there and talk about lapidary and you know, hang out in the channel and stuff like that. So that would be kind of nice. If anybody knows anything about it, or maybe how to run a Discord, could y'all just drop some helpful hints that y'all may know? Because I'd rather learn from talking to somebody than looking up online, you know. But what we're doing right now is we're just going to continue lowering. We're going to lower that down. Now, if y'all are watching and y'all are like what you're seeing, which I hope you do, I pray you do, be sure to leave a like. That really does help the channel out. It really does help us out. Alright, so that's pretty good right there. I call that a successful cut. If there's a way I could somehow zoom in and get y'all a really good image of the stone, I would. Because she's turning out to be pretty as could be. And the problem with it is whenever it's in this machine, it's, you know, it's in the machine. If I take it out and I adjust it in any way or anything like that, when I put it back in, it's gonna be off. And then that's more cutting we gotta do. And I doubt y'all want to sit through watching the same plate over and over again and not seeing any difference in anything change. And Laura, if you are watching, can you let me know? We're getting there, I think. We're getting there. I got to lower it some more. Just to get that polish on that bottom end. And I'm hoping that this will end up being a pretty impressive sized amethyst. I mean, it's already pretty dark for an amethyst as well, which I'm particularly happy with. Because, I mean, let's face it, we want some nice dark amethysts. You know, we want that pretty color in there. Could you, if you're able, could you get me the book and so we can show the butterfly design that I would like to try one day? And it's a frosted design too, which is even cooler. But if you can't, don't worry about it. I don't want you to have to if you don't, you know what I mean. If you're not able to, don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. And I've also thought about maybe getting a big old magnifying glass and like putting it here when you're using it so you can it'll magnify on the stone. And then mount it to where I can just push it away when we're not doing that and just move it back and forth. You know what I'm saying? Oh man, y'all, this is looking pretty good. And once we get through this, I'll have tilt the light so the light should glint off of it. it's always the bottom, which with the bottom, that means that we have to lower it a little bit, because this 8,000 grit plate ain't much for cutting. It's much more for removing scratches than actually cutting. And here's the way I describe it to people. You're cutting stone, right, with the 600 grit lap and the 1200 grit lap. It's in the very front. Here. I love you.
I love you. Want me to show it?
Oh, yeah. She got you. That's it right there. That's the butterfly. Here. There's the light. Here. Hold it.
No, thank you.
So that's the butterfly design. I'm hoping to cut that, and I'm hoping to cut it frosted. So what frosted means is you cut it, right, and you polish everything but the design. You leave the design on a rough grit, so it's kind of got this white frosted glass look to it. So that's one of the things I'm wanting to do. I got to work up to it though. I mean, faceting regularly is hard enough for me right now, so faceting like that will be, I don't want it, but so much of it, somewhat of a doozy. So let's go ahead and fasten that down. We're moving now to 4, 5, 5, 8 on our angle. Go one above. Now I always go one above, so if I'm going 4, 5, 4, 5, 5, 8, I go 4, 5, 5, 9. So whenever I push down a little bit, it goes to that 8. You know what I'm saying? Alright, and now I'm going to turn this off. And I've learned, for the safety of the stone and my sanity, that whenever I do this, I need to turn the machine off so it doesn't grind on it where it doesn't need to necessarily. But I'm going to set it to my first point on 4, 5, 5, 8, right? And then I'm going to lower it down till it barely touches. There we go. And then I'm going to lift it back up. And with it back up, I'm going to turn that on. Turn the water on. Took a good drip. And I'm going to lower it back down. And we're just going to let it cut. We're going to let it cut and polish. And with the 600 grit and 12,000 grit, what that does is actually focuses more on removing stone and getting the shape and getting, you know, the points and everything on there. And what the 8,000 and the 50,000, that's more for like removing scratches is 8,000 and getting that nice pretty glassy look to it. And then 50,000 is putting that, well, bam, polish on there. You know what I mean? And it's removing these small, tiny cuts that you can't see with really the naked eye. That's why I use a 10 times magnifying glass. And it will absolutely make this stone pop, shine, look amazing with very little complaint about. Let's see, make sure I'm on that right one. 34, I'm on the right one. 4, 5, 5, 8. Sorry about covering it up. One of these days I'll remember. Well, let's see. This is looking pretty good. much from head to toe. I'm going to look at it with the 10 times. And as you get more and more skilled with it, you really won't have to use the 10 times magnifying glass that much. It will kind of be one of those things you can kind of pick it out. But even though I don't have to, I try to remember to keep using it. Even if I think it looks good, I'd still try to remember to use it that way. I don't leave nothing to chance. But like I did just earlier, I mean, I did what I said I try not to do. But I did do it, so, you know, I'm no saint when it comes to that. And we're just making sure, one last cut on there to make sure it's all nice and prettified. There we go. And then 1/82, and then we can show you with the light just how pretty this thing is. And remember, we got one more polishing plate after this. That's 50,000. So 50,000 really is going to make it, really make it look good. So, but I've heard people stopping on this plate right here, and I don't necessarily know how I feel about that, because it does feel a little weird that they would stop here. I mean, it's pretty, don't get me wrong, it's shiny, but you know, this is like a pre-polished plate. This is not a polish. And I would like to see, you know, if you're buying a stone, you want to see it polished, right? You don't want to see it pre-polished. That's crazy. So let's see. I'm going to take this, I'm going to look at it. All right. So we got that little top piece there that doesn't want to polish. Seems like it's stopping. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lower the angle a little bit and see if I can't get that touched up some. And if that's the case, the angle is a little off. So that seems to be the case. So, lower it down here. Hey, just wanted to stop by and say, hey, can't stick for long, need to film some videos. All right, Pen and Pen Blades. Well, it was nice hearing from you, man. Yeah, we got to finish shooting one too. We've been going to Renaissance Fair and stuff like that, so we need to work on ours too. But I'm glad you at least come in and say hey with us. I hope if you haven't subscribed to Pen and Pen Blades, please do. The guy's really good. He reviews knives and pens and stuff like that. He's really good person. And yeah, I hope you go subscribe to him, because he's a good fella. Man, this is, I'm trying to see, but this is probably the most off I've been in a long time for. It almost like it doesn't want to cut unless it isn't. Which is strange for me. And be sure to drop a like on the video. It does help the channel out. Yeah, we're starting to cut through it now. It's just one of those things. It is just one of those things. Got to grind hard enough and long enough, I guess. Yeah, she's coming Problem is she's coming out slowly. Good news is she's coming out surely. Oh no, we weren't doing any videos at the Renaissance Fair. We were just there. I'm saying that's why because we planned on getting back to doing videos again soon, but we were at the Renaissance Fair, and that kind of yeah, that took most of our time for the past 2 weeks. Was doing that. Oh boy, this thing is not cut, but we were fixing that. We were fixing that, y'all. For some reason, this is not wanting to cut. And I do not know what's going on with this. Because it's stopping directly like a third of the way through. And it should not be doing that. Like it should not be doing that. Yeah, but I was playing some jokes on some people at the Renaissance Fair. I was doing magic tricks, quote unquote magic tricks, and it was mainly just a way of giving people Lord's business card. It was a way of making them laugh while doing it. And I wish I could do it now, but I need somebody to participate in it. And you know, I don't really have anybody. It just wouldn't be as fun. You know what I mean? Somebody called me while I was on the phone. I don't even know, since the screen ain't even forwarded to me. It was actually my wife's phone number, or phone that's sitting in front of me, so I can read it. Mine's the one doing the actual screen. This thing is not one to cut at all. And it's just right here. It's no other place. Get it. No. It's still just right there. What's going on? I don't get why this thing ain't cutting. Let me wipe it off again, see if that helped. Very little, but yes. This is extremely strange. But it is doing it. It is just giving me colossal issues doing it. I'm sorry, this never happens to me. You can tell that's a joke. This does happen sometimes, but never to this extent. Usually if you sit there and touch it up for a minute or two, it's good. For some reason, it does not want to touch up. And for anybody in here, I'd like to ask you to like and subscribe if you haven't. It surely does help the channel out. Helps me and my pretty lady out. So we get to show you some of the cool stuff we do. And it helps this stone become famous because apparently this is the world's hardest amethyst that refuses to get cut. It refuses to polish. This thing is stubborn. Golly, is it stubborn. Starting to sound jaded with the stone. Come on now. Now we finally got this stone polished. Because there's going to be a next group of facets that's going to wipe this top piece out. Right, it's just going to take it apart. But we finally got that piece. Now I just need to flatten what I'd already cut. So let's go ahead and do that. Flatten that out. And I can't push too hard, because if I do, I will pop this stone off the top, and that will be no bueno. Here we go. Alright, so let's go ahead and turn that off. Turn that off. Roll that out first. Let's see if I can get this to just sit there. Get this down a little bit. Can y'all see the flash of the stone? So, if that's the case, yeah, I think y'all can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and rotate. There's some water still on there. But rotate. And that's the 8,000 grit, right? Pretty looking stone though. Especially for just the 8,000 grit. Now we're going to hit it up with the 50,000. And that's just the first 2 rows of pavilion facets. Right? We're going to hit it up with that 50,000, make it look nice and pretty. And then we are going to hit it up with the rest of the facets. So let's go ahead and I'm just going to put it on 96, even though I don't think none of the cuts require 96. I'm going to go ahead and put it on the 96. And we're going to put this 8,000 grit lap back. And I'm going to put the 50,000 grit lap on. And while I do that, I'm going to check my phone, make sure there's been no emergencies, and that's why somebody called. It's just it's a weird call from, I don't even know their area code. That's Crazy. All right. So let's go ahead and close this up. They didn't leave a phone number. Or they didn't leave a message, so let's go ahead and get that going. Now, what I will tell you is that this lap is up a little higher than the rest of the laps. So I know I'm going to have to go up with this. We were doing the 4, 5, 5, 8 group of facets. So that's P2. So we're going to go ahead and turn this on to 14. See if it's still... Alright. So it's just right. And you hear that low little skipping grinding. There we go. But yeah, she's cutting. She's cutting just fine. Let's put a nice little pretty polish on there. Let me look at the 10 times. I do not see nothing with this 10 times that's bad about this. I'm going to hit one more time. Maybe a little greedy. Maybe a little overzealous. But we're going to do it anyways. And look, I've forgotten to clean the whole stone off. It didn't bite me in the butt right now, but it could have. We're going to look. Nothing. Alright, good. Alright, now we're going to turn to a 34. And we're just going to put this back down on there. And since that's a little higher, I'm going to lower it some. I'm going to raise it some. And we're just going to get that little grinding going. And with that little grinding, I'm going to take this off right here. I'm going to check it out. We're just going to check it out. Oops. I used the wrong hand. And I see nothing really wrong other than what was already wrong with it before, which, again, these previous rows of facets going to knock that out, so I'm not too terribly worried about that. You know what I'm saying? So, when you're seeing somebody facet gemstones, they usually go by quicker. I'm still new at faceting, so I'm not so new at cabochon cutting. I can cut those pretty easily. But faceting, I'm still relatively a newbie at it. And so that's probably why mine are going a little slower, you know. But that's okay. We're going to hit it up one more time. Anything we can. But I've seen people tell me, how about that, because I ain't really sitting there and watched them cut unless it's a video, or you know, you don't really see people live streaming it all too much. At least I haven't, but I could be wrong. That they said they could cut a standard design in 2 hours. It'd be done. And congratulations to them, because that ain't what I can do right now, since, you know, I'm still learning. But hopefully this ain't just me learning. I can pass some of this knowledge off to y'all, and we can learn together. And I'm gonna be making some videos on the facet machine for sure. What I've learned, what I think is essential, what I think is probably the most valuable piece of knowledge I've learned doing this. And again, like I said, we're going to work on some, we got some dig bags from some mines that they're not local, but they're, considering where we are, it's relatively near us. And we're gonna pull some rough out those mines, and we're gonna try to evaluate them after we pull the rough out the mining bags, and see if we can't dop some of these things and put them on the faceting machine, and with the faceting machine do some giveaways with them after the cut, or again maybe an auction for charity, whatever we can get going. But something at least, you know what I'm saying? And I think that might be a pretty fun thing to do, you know, because you get these, I don't know if y'all have ever done like the gemstone mining thing, like you get the little tourist areas where you can mine gemstones and stuff like that. But anytime me and my wife's near one of them and we got time, we love to stop into those places and just kind of do a little bit. It doesn't even have to be a lot, just a little bit. And especially with little man on the way, he should be here relatively soon. I figure we're probably going to do a lot of that whenever he gets a little older. And it might be kind of cool, because I've often wondered, you know, what would this look like all cut up, and even before I really got into gemstones or anything like that, just picking a rock out the yard, and I was like, man, I wonder what this looks like as a gemstone. You know what I mean? So, even though all the rocks in our yard were basically just white. So, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and move up to our initial row of facets. That's our P1. So let's move up to P1 and do 4759. And once that's done, I'll show y'all exactly what this looks like. And because we're moving up in a row of facets to 4759, we're going to move it to 4760. So when I rest my finger on there, it's going to rest at 4759. So let's go ahead and turn it to 06. We're just going to lower this down a little bit. I'm going to turn this off, and we're going to set it right on the plate. There we go. And then with it set, I'm just going to move it up just a little bit so it's barely not touching. Boom, boom, water. And then we're going to just lower that down. And we're just going to polish that. And it's as easy as that. And these usually polish up pretty easy. So we probably won't spend a lot of time on this one. Maybe 10 minutes, I'm hoping. Because these smaller facets tend to polish and buff relatively well and relatively quickly. And if anybody's got questions, please let me know. And if you haven't liked, please like and subscribe. If you want to share, I'm not going to argue with that either. You know, I won't look a gift horse in the mouth. And if anybody knows where that saying comes from, please tell me. So I do not know where that saying comes from. So we see that. That is a little higher, right? The number is a little off. So what we're going to do, we're just going to raise it up and lower it back down. Right, and then there we go. And that's 38. Nice and pretty. I'm gonna check with that 10 times because that just kind of threw me off a little bit. Times, all right. We're just gonna lower this down a little bit more. Not that there was anything wrong with it, just wanted to make sure. All right, so we got 38, 42. Polishing that up. And 42, that means we're halfway through with this row of facets for the actual polishing. So that's pretty good. So let's go ahead and do 54. So we got 54 and then let's see, 58, 86, and 90, and then we're done with that row right there. So, go ahead and look at this. Look at this. Beautiful, beautiful stone. I usually do not like bragging on my own stuff, but I really do like the color of this amethyst, the way it's turning out. I mean, this is a very deep, dark, rich amethyst. So I'm pretty thrilled with how this is turning out. But we want to make sure it stays perfect and it stays becoming perfect. Booyah. There we go. Booyah. All right. Let's see. Raise it up just a little bit. Lower it down a little bit more. Just fine tuning at this point. It's just fine tuning at this point. We getting there. We are getting there. Let's see. All right, all right. All right, let's put this back down. We got a little bit more to go. We got a little bit more. Alright, so pins put it down in there. Alright, cool. To tell how good or healthy a horse was, or how old it was by checking its teeth. It was considered rude to check the teeth of a horse you were given as a gift. A good friend of mine told me that. That is where the saying comes from. Okay. Alright. I like that, man. Shoo. You know what? And that makes sense. You know what I mean? Somebody gives you a horse, you better not be looking for things to nitpick about the horse. They're giving you a horse. You know what I mean? I get that. I hear that. So don't look a gift horse in the mouth. Thank you, Pen. See, Pen's smart too. I think Pen will have a pretty good time cutting stones and facet stones and cabochoning stones. He's a pretty smart fella. And we actually talked over the phone, me and Pen, because he was helping me on a project. But anytime Pen wants to get a hold of me, my phone's available for him because he's a good fella. got it. We got it, y'all. I'm gonna hit it again. I know it's kind of risky to hit it again because some leftover things can pick up and cut. But we're gonna hit it again. Even though I like it, I just want a little more shine. I know it seems a little stingy, but we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. All right. Here we go. Here we go. Let's check it now. Make sure it ain't got it, ain't picked up anything. All right, y'all. All right, we did it. We did it. She's good. She's good. All right, last one. Last one. Last set for P1 and P2. It's the last faceted cut for it. Then we're going to work on her girdle. We're going to work on her girdle. Let's see. Ooh, and it's starting to, the light's starting to kind of poke through a little bit. Well, thank you so much, Ben. I hope you ain't saying I'm smart, because and you'd be the first one to accuse me of that. But I'll take being a good person, though. We got it. We got it. We got it. P1 and P2 facets done. We got it. All right, let me show it to y'all. Let me show it to y'all. Golly. On these same rows of facets when it popped off, and I'm telling you, it was a little bit bigger, but not too much bigger than this. But I started stressing. I was like, man, this is going to be a difficult stone, because it's already starting to be difficult, you know. But right now it's getting pretty good. But we got it. We got it. Let me just tilt it down. Make sure y'all can see it real quick first. All right, can y'all see that? Can y'all see that? We got it, y'all. All right, that's P1 and P2. We still need to do the girdle. And then with the girdle, after that, we got to go P3, P4, and P5 and P6, which those are relatively simple. But right now, we got that. Let's see if I can tilt it up some if it gives y'all a better angle. Sorry, I'm getting excited. I mean, look at that. All right, we did it, y'all. All right, cool. All right, we're going to set it to 96. 96. We're going to move this. Now, the girdles. And the girdles is usually where I stress the most, because the girdles is where I've had a lot of stones pop off, and it's pretty messy. All right, so girdles. But I mean, if it continues like this, if the lighting holds up, so if it stays this dark of a stone throughout it, this is going to be a beautiful amethyst. I mean, like a beautiful amethyst. And I think the cut design is going to look really good too, because we got an oval look, so it's going to save as much as the amethyst as possible, right? But it's also going to have like a star image on the bottom of it. And I'm thinking with that star image, some of the facets is going to refract light back up through the table of the stone, which is where that little flat spot is on the top that you can look into the stone. It's going to refract light off of that, and it's going to make just a stunning image. All right, so let's go ahead. I'm getting excited and I'm psyching myself out. Let's go ahead and wipe this master lap plate down. So let's go ahead and wipe that down. Get it kind of dry so my 600 grit topper lap doesn't stick too terribly bad. It's going to stick bad, but hopefully not incredibly bad. So let's go ahead and close that up. All right. Okay. Oh, wait a minute. I'm doing the girdle. I can't have this open. I can't have this closed, I gotta have it open. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna open it a little bit and then have it half closed, so hopefully it catches some stuff. Alright, so now we're gonna have to set this to 90 because we're gonna have to cut at a 90-degree angle. We're gonna have to cut at this 90-degree angle to get the stone its perfect girdle. And this girdle's the flat spots on the edges, and usually a girdle is like, what is it, 0.01 or 0.02 millimeters wide. It's just for jewelers to be able to set a stone, right? So that's the only real reason we even need a girdle on stones, is for that. All right, so what we're gonna do also is we are gonna free wheel this, free willy. We're gonna free willy this. All right, and we're gonna find the lowest spot on here. And with that lowest spot, that's gonna be kind of like our set area. So that's 50 something. I'm trying to see, 58 is the only one near that. Okay. All right, and I'm just gonna, now that I got it somewhat lowered, I'll just raise that up a little bit. Okay. So the first ones are 19, 29, 67, 77. That's our G1. So we got it a little bit up, and that's our G1. So 19, 29, 67, 77. And again, this is my first oval piece. So who knows if I'm even doing this oval girdle correctly. So I am kind of, I don't want to say nervous, but just, I guess, nervous. Just kind of nervous, man. All right, let's try it. Let's try it. And I don't know how long I'll be able to sit here tonight and cut, but we got past the P1 and P2s, which is why I was worried about them. Well, some of the most. This is definitely what I'm worried about the most, though, because the stones do tend to pop off on this one if they're going to. Hopefully they do not. But if we witness disaster, trust me, you're gonna hear it from me. I'm gonna definitely be like, oh no. And what we're doing is we're just cutting that flat spot on the side so the jewelers can set the stone. And I'm just gonna use both hands, trying to minimize the shaking to the gemstone, but also to the dot as well. And then that way, because I do have this rubber glue, which can absorb shock, but I have a feeling it still can be pretty brittle. It can be pretty brittle sometimes. So I'm gonna try my best to be as gentle and as easy with this thing as possible. If you haven't, make sure to like and subscribe. It does help the channel out. Helps us out. And I think the set in stone size is like setting the, you know how oval it pinches in and then it kind of comes out at the sides. I think that's where we're setting the side here. So I think we're setting the length of the size of the stone. Well, Lord knows I hope we are. I hope I'm right. Here we go, we're reaching 90. And we're just cutting down to the 90-degree angle. There we go. What's that? We got it? I think that may be it. I think we got it. Alright, so now we're just gonna rotate to the 67. Started getting lost in the numbers again. Till I found myself. It happens all the time. It do happen all the time, y'all. Oh, it's getting hot in this house. Sorry about not being able to give you the best angle. Trying to do it while still trying to give me the best chance to keep this thing on top. Here we go, keeping it on top. Everything's looking pretty good, y'all. Good Lord willing. Lord willing. We're at 90.10. Alright, 90.6, 90.3, 90.00. Alright, so we're gonna pick that up. So far, so good. So far, so good. And then that's our tip to tip right there. So that's gonna be our length from there to there. And then we're going to pinch these in on the side and bring those in. This is still going to be quite a sizable amethyst, to be honest. This is going to be, at least for me, it's going to be a pretty big amethyst. So, kind of excited. I don't want to be too presumptuous, but I mean, kind of excited, y'all. Checking everything, seeing how the color is coming through, thing like that. Things looking okay. All right, so let's go ahead and do our 10. Meet G1 and P1 and P2. So that's our goal for G2. And we got to turn to the dial 10 to do it. So let's go ahead and turn that up some. All right. All right, so we're at 90.01. 0. Oh, it needs a little bit more down. Just a little bit more down. I think I can even do it without dropping it really. Because it needs like a fraction of a millimeter down. That's it. That's it. So that's, sorry I ain't showing it real well. That is P1, G1, P1, and P2. Let's see, P2 is our, alright, so let's see if we can continue. Moving. See what we might do though. Let's see. And that's why I love having this diagram up here. Again, you can't really see it. And I can barely see it without that light there. So that's G1. That's P2. So we got that. I think we got that pretty well. Alright, so peaceful cedar. Oh yeah, thank you, Peaceful Cedar. Peaceful Cedar, if I remember correctly, you are the people I talked to about your soaps and things like that. Am I correct? Because I believe they were at the Renaissance Fair, and because you said, yeah, you all have soaps, and y'all make them out of actual natural ingredients, not the artificial stuff. You actually like use real good smelling, actual natural stuff. Am I correct about that, Peaceful Cedar? Alright, so we got P1, P2. I'm kind of nervous because, again, this is our first oval cut for faceted gemstones. And so, I know y'all probably can't see it right now, but the side of my head's starting to get a little damp. Whew, and I'm getting a little nervous. Alright, because I want this thing to turn out right. Especially since my aquamarine did not turn out right yesterday, and I was pretty disappointed with myself all yesterday. Yes, we do. We use essential oils and have a couple with fragrance oils for the festivals. And yeah, so do y'all have a website, Peaceful Cedar? I can't remember right off the top of my head. I'm terrible memory, and I'm sorry about that. Do y'all have a website? Because if you do, we can give it a shout out. And anybody that's needing anything like that, I know I got a natural fragrance about me, so I definitely need them. So we're grinding this down. We're going to grind this down, and we're meeting. Same thing. G1 to P1 to P2. So I'm thinking it's going, yeah, we're both meeting the G1 facet. gonna go ahead and keep cutting this down. Now obviously we're not gonna get finished with the stone today on live stream. We probably won't finish it on live stream, to be honest. I'll probably work on this probably some more tomorrow, probably some more tonight. I'll probably be working on this for a few days, just because it's a new designs I want to be very careful with. Very, very careful with. So we're gonna go ahead. I'm gonna have to lower this down some, so we haven't met with the P1 yet. No problem, Peaceful Cedar. No problem. They're good people. Y'all good people, so I don't mind shouting good people out. I think y'all do the same for us if y'all are in a different boat. Or, you know what I mean. If you were live streaming and I jumped in, you get what I'm saying. Oh man. Alright. Alright. I may have to call it here. No, we're gonna cut a little bit more. We're gonna cut a little bit more. We're gonna risk it for the biscuit. I was gonna say let's call it here so I can have some time to think. But if I had time to think, I'm gonna overthink it. We're gonna risk it for the biscuit. We're gonna get this thing done. Alright, here we go. Lowering it. We're gonna meet that P1. Meet the P1 and the P2 and the G1. Oh, I should have used Jim Cut Studios and tested this out before I started. Oh dear Lord. Alright, here we go. We're getting there now. It's getting closer. We're doing it. We're okay. We're okay, y'all. We haven't messed up yet. We definitely haven't messed up yet. Whew. Alright. Let's check it out again. We are like 0.02 of a millimeter off from having a good even line. We got it. We did it. It's on there. It's on there, y'all. It is on there. Y'all may not think gemstones cutting is exciting, but it's exciting, especially whenever you're cutting an expensive piece of amethyst. I just saw my wallet flash before my eyes. Alright, alright, let's go back to this 10 and check this out, make sure I did this right. See, that's another thing I don't particularly like about this. Is that P1 or is that P2? And that's what I need that light the most. Yeah, it was. Oh, yeah, it was. So, it's going okay. Update. It's going okay. We just did an amazing facet right then and there. Osiris. We got them lined up pretty good. I think I got it pretty good right there. I'm just checking things out. So our P1 facets and our P2 facets looking relatively good. So let's see. And again, that's our first try. It's our first try with an oval. So that's where I kind of get nervous. Is that is our first try with an oval. So that means this could really end badly if we're not careful. Like badly. I might have to use the light. I'm sorry, y'all. We gotta use the light. And I know y'all think I'm probably being dramatic, but I can tell y'all that I'm not. I usually only get nervous when it's something this valuable, and I'm just being 100% honest with y'all. So, let's see. So we're at 38. We got to go to 58 now. We got to go to 58 now, and I'm going to rise this up. I'm just going to see, after making a substantial mark on it, I'm just going to see where this puts us on the line here. So, again, I'm a little nervous. Ain't gonna lie with you. Not gonna lie to you. Because as I'm cutting it, I feel like I'm doing something wrong, but I can't put my finger on it. And if I can't put my finger on it, then I can't correct it. That makes sense. So, we'll see. But it could be just one of those things, as you continue cutting the stone, it's getting better and better. You know what I mean? So it could be I'm screwing up, or it could be I'm doing fine and I just haven't proceeded through the stone yet. And that's why that gem cut studio is so good, but I have a hard time in figuring out that gem cut studio, to be honest. I have a very difficult time figuring it out. It's a little too technical for me. I mean, to be honest, even running the stream's kind of technical for me. But we're gonna get there. We're gonna get there. And we got to figure out a way how I can show this stuff to y'all up close and personal. You know what I mean? So that's where it kind of gets a little frustrating too, because if I can't show it to y'all up close and personal, I can't really show y'all what I'm trying to say. You know what I mean? And that would be where a video would come in handy, but our videos don't really get pushed out that well. Our click-through rates not really amazing. And I know it's my fault somewhere along the line. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's my doing. I'm not understanding, you know, click-through rate and all that pretty well, and you know, things like that. Or I'm not trying to do clickbait or, you know, some kind of crazy face on a thumbnail. So it'd be kind of hard to show y'all through a video, because either you don't get the notifications or you don't see it, and then it's hard to kind of relay it. So live stream's the best place to kind of talk about it. But then again, it's not at the same breath. Alright, here's what we're gonna do. We're at G2. We're at G2. Oh, by the way, my cousin informed me today that one of his friends is looking into possibly doing a YouTube channel for gaming reviews and stuff like that. And so yeah, if he makes it, it comes out and everything, I'll give him a shout out on here. Kind of give him a little audience. If y'all like video gaming and stuff like that, it may help. I hope it does. But I like hanging out with them in Discord and talking with them about games. And, you know, we play games all the time. I've been playing Stalker 2 right now. Amazing game, to be honest. But I'm a Stalker fan. You know, I've loved the games. So, whenever it comes out, I'll probably give them a shout out on live stream a couple times, kind of help give them a boost. And you know what? If you like them, great. And I don't know if my cousin is going to necessarily talk with him or not, or, you know, kind of be with him throughout the whole thing. But if he is, even more awesome, because let me tell you something about my cousin. There is nobody that probably knows more about video games than my cousin. He is smart when it comes to video games, and I can't say enough good things about him. He's a really good fella, solid fella, you know, and really good Southern gentleman. So yeah, it'd definitely be something for y'all to look out for. But I think we're going to call it right here for tonight. I may pick this up tomorrow, and hopefully I'm doing this right. I'm actually going to go and do this on Jim Cut Studio just to make sure I'm doing it correctly, because I am getting rather nervous, and this is a very beautiful stone, and I think y'all don't want me to mess it up as much as I don't want to mess it up, or at least I hope y'all do. So let's go ahead and call it there. We're gonna end out on a prayer. So if y'all are not into prayers or anything like that, but you want to stick around, feel more than welcome. If you don't want to, y'all can leave now. This is just a time for prayer. And yeah, so everybody who's here, go ahead and bow your heads. God, I'd like to thank you for all the people who stopped by today, and for all the people who hung in there with us today. I would like to pray that if anybody listening right now has not found your grace and love and mercy and forgiveness, that they seek to find a closer connection with you, and they seek to find a closer relationship with you, and that you would save their souls so that you could give them a peace unknown like any other, and that you can cleanse their sin. I would also like to thank you for everybody who's talked with us today. It gets kind of lonely doing this all by yourself, so it's nice to have a little bit of company. I want to thank you for everything you've been doing in my life. I cannot be grateful enough. I cannot be grateful enough for the live stream audience we've had tonight. Y'all are amazing, truly awesome. And yeah, if anybody's not saved, I pray that they do get saved. I pray that they find that relationship with God so they can enjoy the kingdom of heaven with all of us. And we can have a big old time up in heaven together, and when the new heaven and earth is made. But if anybody's in turmoil right now, I pray that you wrap your loving arms around them, and you give them some peace and comfort, and guide them through. It's one of those times to where it's a mix for some people, and joyous for some people, and terrible for others. So I hope that I pray that you wrap them in your arms and give them calmness and peace. But most importantly, I want to say, let your will be done. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. All right, y'all. I'm going to call it for tonight. I've had a great time. And I'm going to tell you, just like my preachers used to tell me, as much as I love you, God loves you more. We'll see you next week. Be safe. Take care.